Quincy Avery is Deshaun Watson's personal quarterback coach. Avery talked about Deshaun Watson's offseason. This is from the Maggie and Perloff show.
I think that this has been his best offseason in a really long time in terms of preparation for the game, being able to throw, putting himself in position where he was able to do all the things throwing wise that he needs to do to be successful in an NFL game, and he's in a good spot. I mean, we've tested, so it's not, hey, is it as good, right? He throws the ball as hard with more velocity. Like his miles per hour are higher now than they were prior to the injury. So those things are not like a concern.
You know, again, we've said this a couple of times, Tim. I think the thing is, he just needs to get on the field and get back into a rhythm. And that's the biggest thing that you can't replicate. He played whatever it was, 5 games at the end of the season 2 years ago. He never played 3 games in a row last year because of injuries. So it's really hard to expect a guy that's in a game, out 2 games, in 2 games, out a game, to play with the other 11 guys or the other 10 guys on the field.
And I think we also have to point out that Deshaun Watson throughout his career has been prone to slow starts during the season. I mean, I don't think that's terribly uncommon, especially if you don't play a lot in the preseason. It's understandable, if week one he doesn't look great, and I think fans might want to prepare for that possibility if, we've seen some of the same issues where passes aren't quite where they need to be, where he's a little late in seeing things. I mean, the closest thing he's had to live action since he suffered his shoulder injury in November was the joint practices against the Vikings. And yeah, he didn't have his full offensive line complement with him, but he was also in no danger of being hit. And now you go in this Cowboys game, you got Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence on this defense. Now there's the pressure. Now there's the real threat of being hit out there. How does he respond to that and those sorts of things? And it seems like through training camp, the strength of the arm, the health of the arm really hasn't been in question. It seems like the Browns, as they should have done, have been very deliberate about their approach with Watson. And I wonder if that kind of carries over into the games where they're going to try to be a little more conservative, maybe run the football a little bit just to kind of get Deshaun Watson comfortable at being out there, in full speed gameplay again. And like I said, Watson's had some slow starts in his career. So especially considering he hasn't played since November, I would think fans should be willing to be a little more patient and kind of let him work his way back into it. And obviously he's going to need to protect himself to stay healthy, but I would imagine if it's anything like last season where, third game in the season against Tennessee, he looked more like himself. Certainly by the end of September, you want Deshaun Watson to look more like Deshaun Watson.